Welcome back, everybody, to another edition of Universe Mode here on WWE 2k22. We're here with NXT 2.0, the last episode before next week's television special, NXT Heatwave, which is shaping up to be a pretty solid show. So we got one more week before we get to that point, though. This is going to be a nice, solid night of action as well. Hope you guys are ready. If you are, make sure you drop that like and subscribe down below, especially if you want more Universe Mode content. Let's take a look at tonight's show. First off, we'll see Tony D'Angelo, who gets ready to face Roderick Strong next week, take on A-Kid in the women's division. Lash the Legend goes one-on-one against Tatum Paxley. And then in tag action, Chase U will team up to face Mr. Stone's newest tag team, and Zion Quinn and Von Wagner, who looked really good in their short stint. Indi Hartwell goes one-on-one against JC Jane before her NXT Women's Championship opportunity next week. And speaking of championship opportunities, JD McDonagh takes on Giovanni Vinci in our main event. Tony D'Angelo will knock off A-Kid. Lash the Legend gets the victory over Tatum Paxley. Quinn and Wagner get another win in the tag division. They beat Chase U. But now time for Indi Hartwell versus JC Jane. Before we get ready for this one, also, make sure if you're interested in buying some Rogue Energy, use my referral link down below in the description. It helps out the channel, and you get 10% off your purchase if you use code Mr. Rob. So if you want some Rogue Energy and you want to help me out at the same time, it's a win-win. But we get ready for this one. Indi Hartwell, the #1 contender for the NXT Women's Championship, gets ready to make her way to the ring. She definitely has been impressive in recent times. She has earned the opportunity to face Mandy Rose, who's been a pretty dominant champion. But Indi Hartwell was part of that 6-woman tag team with Jade and Perez that knocked off Toxic Attraction at the Great American Bash. That's what set her up for this opportunity. Her partners Jade and Perez cashed in and won the championship. So let's see if Indi Hartwell could do the same thing as she gets ready to take on one member of Toxic Attraction here tonight. It is the former two-time NXT Women's Tag Team Champion, JC Jane, who is on your left. That's Gigi Dolan in the middle. And on the right is the NXT Women's Champion, Mandy Rose, who has a date with Indi Hartwell next week. Toxic Attraction easily has been the most dominant trio of women in NXT in recent time. They've definitely taken a hit in the past couple weeks. No women's tag titles anymore, just the NXT Women's Championship. But we'll see if they can bounce back. JC Jane with a nice opportunity here tonight as she gets ready for her one-on-one contest. It's Indi Hartwell versus JC Jane as we get ready. And here we go. Ready. And this match has started. Hartwell quickly gets the upper hand with a couple of strikes. As Indi Hartwell, very accomplished. Also a former NXT Women's Tag Team Champion, trying to find her own as a singles performer. And ever since stepping up to the plate of Toxic Attraction, Indi Hartwell has done a very good job in building herself up, definitely living up to that impressive moniker. But all she has to do now is just knock off Mandy Rose next week. But you want to get through JC Jane here tonight, who, don't sleep on her, is also a very talented performer, mostly a tag team specialist. But JC Jane has shown that she can hold her own in singles performance. As right now she's working away on Indi in the turnbuckle. Knees right underneath the jawline, and a nice double knees for a good measure. That's the offensive display of Jane. And she is 1/3 of Toxic Attraction. They've just done such a good job at being such dominant for so long, and part of that's because they've always had the number advantage. But this trio of Indi Hartwell, Cora Jade, and Roxanne Perez, you can also see at ringside in the background, they have been a match for Toxic Attraction. Finally, they don't have the numbers game as a whole. I thought for a second Hartwell going for a cover here, but only gets a 1 count on Jane. But had the numbers game for so long, but this trio has stepped up to the plate. Jade and Roxanne Perez, they were able to take the NXT Women's Tag Team Championships away from Toxic Attraction. And is the main title, the singles title, is that the next one to fall? Will the Women's Championship leave the ranks of Toxic Attraction? We'll have to find out next week at Heatwave, which is going to be a very good show. We got a nice solid matchup. JD McDonagh, Gunther for the NXT Championship. That'll be also your main event. We'll see Cameron Grimes and Grayson Waller go at it for the North American Championship. Tony D'Angelo will take on Roderick Strong, and then much more will follow at next week's show. This one is spilled to the outside. Indi Hartwell looking to do a little bit of damage out there. You see GG getting close, maybe just keeping an eye on things. You have to think if a member of Toxic Attraction did get involved, Jade and Perez would jump right in. I think Toxic knows that. They don't want to start a riot on the outside, especially before next week's big match. But Jade has been able to get the upper hand in this contest. Stomping away on that left arm of Indi Hartwell, boot right underneath the jaw. And now trying to tie her up. JC Jane doing a very good job here, maintaining control, slowing the pace down, and just stretching out Indi Hartwell. Very good joint manipulation on display there, followed up by a senton. And 1/3 of Toxic Attraction has the early advantage, but going to taunt the crowd. Toxic Attraction is not afraid to tell you how great they are. Jane still holding momentum. A couple of strikes here. Hartwell battles out, blocks the one to the midsection. I'm going to follow up with a couple of strikes in a row. More right hands being thrown here. More bombs. Ooh, shot to the midsection here. Jane stunned, and Indi Hartwell counters with a nice flying forearm attempt. That could get the impressive one back in this contest. Oh, another right hand strike. Missed the kick to the midsection, though. That's going to allow Jane an opening, and ooh, went for that discus forearm. Indi had it scouted, and it connects with a nice jawbreaker. So good job by Hartwell. Didn't allow the missed kick to stop her there. She drags Jane away from the ropes here, trying to pick up the pinfall victory, but not going to allow that to happen. Indi Hartwell going to try to stay on the upper hand here, just throwing right hand shots to the forehead. This Toxic Attraction can do nothing but watch on, as Jane could be in a bit of trouble here. Caught the boot of Indi Hartwell, though. Trying to battle back. Connects with a nice DDT, jumping DDT. Good move there by JC Jane, as this one turning into a nice back and forth affair. I think might have gone low. Hartwell with a huge knee. That looked ugly for JC Jane. She could be knocked out cold. Hartwell needs to smell blood in the water here, as Jane's definitely not into her senses here. Instead, Hartwell posing maybe a little bit too much. Needs to stay on the attack. And goes for it. No, Jane might have played a little bit of possum there. I think Indi waited a little too long, but again, nice shot to the midsection. It seems like Hartwell is starting to focus her momentum on that part of the midsection. The rope break is forced there. Hartwell going to get Jane back to her feet, slams her right back down, and drops a good knee for a good measure. Hartwell's getting a lot of this little offense, and she needs to start looking for the big move. Crowd is firmly behind her. They want her to succeed. And again, that opening might have allowed JC Jane to get back in this contest. She's following up more strikes of her own. Indi's backs up into the turnbuckle, and these Muay Thai knee strikes into the midsection. It looks like JC Jane is starting to hone in on that part of the body, and is going to continue to drive the boot before having to release in the corner. The superstar is trying to build momentum here. Again, Jane with a hold of Hartwell. Nice drop kick. Hartwell goes down. Pretty back and forth contest here. Hartwell, has the championship matchup next week. The longer this match goes on, win, lose, or draw, the more it favors Toxic Attraction. Not specifically JC Jane, but specifically that one at ringside, Mandy Rose. Because Mandy's not in action this week. Indi Hartwell is. Indi Hartwell does have the match next week, as there's a nice bicycle kick there. Down goes Hartwell. This would be a huge victory for JC Jane. Gets 2, and no. Hartwell gets the shoulder up just in the nick of time. I think Jane thought that was 3. It's hard to argue there. But she's got to stay on this attack. Hartwell needs to get back in this one. She needs to start to put this one away rather quickly. Well, that might be the opening she needs. Takes out the legs. Jane gets her back to her feet. Kick to the midsection here. This could be what Hartwell was trying to line up earlier. Has her tied up for the nice DDT. Spiked on the top of the head, but Jane's arm falls underneath the rope. That could be a huge break for Jane, but instead Hartwell's going to try for a springboard. Did not connect on the dropkick. Didn't get quite all of that one, but she follows it up nice there with the dropkick. Nice recovery from Hartwell, and she stays on the offense. Get Jane back up to her feet and plants her face first into the canvas. As Hartwell thinking about her next move. Going to get Jane back up to her feet. Goes for a drop kick again. Gets swatted away there. Thought about it too much. And then Jane counters a nice bulldog. Down goes Hartwell, trying to put this one away here and pick up the victory. But no. Only gets a 1 count. Both competitors now back up to their feet. Hartwell's going to get a hold of Jane here. Throws her, hip toss. Going to go for this springboard again. Didn't connect with it earlier. Trying to line her up this time. Goes for the springboard dropkick. This time it does connect. Down goes Jane. This to put away and get the victory. And yes, she does. Connected with that springboard dropkick right into the chest. And Indi Hartwell with an impressive, yes, pun intended, victory here tonight, as she knocks off JC Jane of Toxic Attraction. Next week, she has the champ. Indi Hartwell could be going into that championship opportunity with the momentum. Who will walk away next week with the Women's Championship? We'll have to find out. But tonight, it's Indi Hartwell who gets the last laugh. Well, before we get into our main event, this happening in the backstage area, Grayson Waller and Cameron Grimes have come to blows just a week before their championship encounter. Grayson Waller trying to jump Cameron Grimes from behind, but Grimes looks like he's almost ready for it as he's trying to bring the fight to Waller. These two continuing to throw hands as Grimes gets almost into the table, put on the brakes, but for good measure. Oh, Grayson Waller went for a chair. We're trying to get officials back there as there's a roundhouse kick by Grimes. And these two continue. There's been plenty of bad blood between these two in recent months. Waller thinks he is deserving of that North American Championship. Doesn't believe Grimes is the rightful champion as he gets planted on the concrete. And Grimes not done looking for, it looked like a weapon there. Instead, he's just going to get Waller back to his feet. Now I'm going to reach over. Thought about it again, but that Waller, these two continuing to fight. We're trying to get officials backstage as Grimes goes into the steel and then gets met with a chair for good measure. Waller trying to put the hurt on the champion. Maybe get a leg up before next week's encounter. And both competitors now back to their feet. Waller and Grimes continue to throw punches with a nice drop kick there, and they continue to go at it. Finally, we're getting officials in the back. A very volatile situation back there as those two cannot wait till next week. And speaking of next week, here comes the man in our main event who has an opportunity at the NXT Championship. The Irish Ace, JD McDonagh, gets ready to make his way to the ring. Very familiar with Gunther, the champ, going back to their days in the NXT UK. JD McDonagh, very different approach to his offense. He's almost like a surgeon in the ring. He considers the mat his canvas, considers it his operating table. And JD McDonagh looking to pick apart Gunther next week. But this week, he has Giovanni Vinci. A little taste of Imperium. As if you remember, 2 weeks ago in NXT, it was a tag match in our main event. McDonagh teamed with Hudson to go against Gunther and Ludwig Kaiser of Imperium. And Giovanni Vinci was just at ringside for that contest, with McDonagh with a couple of cheap shots to Vinci. Continued to try to attack him while he wasn't even part of the match. Hadn't even gotten involved yet. So that's what's led to this main event here tonight. Giovanni Vinci wants a shot at JD McDonagh. And here comes Imperium, the most dominant trio in NXT. You see all the gold. Gunther in the middle, the NXT champion. That's Ludwig Kaiser and Giovanni Vinci, the NXT Tag Team Champions. They hold all the gold and continue to bring honor, as they say, to NXT. And in recent times, we have seen that shift in Imperium. You know, they've always said that they want to bring honor to this great sport. They always say that they consider the mat sacred. Their actions didn't necessarily always back up that time, but we've seen in recent times Imperium maybe living up to their claims. Gunther refusing to use chairs in matches. Kaiser and Vinci refusing to take count-out victories, wanting to beat their opponents in the center of the ring. So maybe Imperium is actually onto something. I think the fans are starting to realize that as well. They're starting to turn onto the side of Imperium. But that's enough talk about the trio. It's time for the main event. JD McDonagh, Giovanni Vinci, and here we go. One-on-one in our main event here tonight. This one should be a good one. As quickly McDonagh trying to get the upper hand over Giovanni Vinci, throws him to the outside and connects with a drop kick, and there goes Vinci right in front of Imperium, and you can see the wall of Imperium just standing there. But McDonagh, he's not going to care. He's going to go up to the top rope looking to fly to the outside. No fear on display by this man as he goes tumbling with a flying clothesline. Nice move there by McDonagh, and Imperium not going to get involved. That's what I'm talking about. You know, maybe in the past couple of months we might have seen Imperium try to get involved there on the outside. But instead, they're going to try to allow Vinci to do this on his own. So there's that change in behavior, change in attitude a little bit as Vinci on his own. Looked very good there. Gets a neck breaker on the outside. Continuing to work away on McDonagh. One half of the NXT Tag Team Champions. Has been very good since winning the titles for a record-tying third time. Imperium holds those belts, and they've had some very good matches in their reign. They've knocked off the Creed brothers. They've knocked off Strong and Wesley. They'll have a match at NXT Heatwave next week as Vinci goes for a big springboard there. Didn't quite connect. Beautiful athleticism, though, by the Italian. They will be looking and have the week off next week, but Vinci looking to make the most of it this week with a nice uppercut there. And down goes McDonagh. And the #1 contender to the NXT Championship, and a little bit of problem here as he's on the receiving end of some Vinci's offense, but he's going to take the legs underneath them. And now McDonagh can try to work away and use that surgical offense, as you can see, just stomping away on the elbow joint. Vinci going to roll him over with a couple of right forearm strikes of his own. Vinci, one of the most pound-for-pound strongest members of the NXT 2.0 roster. Very deceptively strong. As McDonagh, though, kick to the midsection. Goes for maybe a flatliner or something, but Vinci with a couple of back elbows. We'll find out. This one's been pretty evenly. A lot of counters. Both definitely doing their homework here, as there's a jawbreaker by McDonagh. JD won a fatal four-way match at the Great American Bash to earn this opportunity and be the #1 contender. He beat Duke Hudson, Tony D'Angelo, and Von Wagner on that night in his first match as an official member of NXT. So McDonagh making the most of his opportunities. Now all he's got to do is beat Gunther next week, and that is going to be a fight. As here goes the cover here. McDonagh trying to win it here as gets a 2 count. Now looking to continue to operate away. You can just see he just has a hold of that left arm. Just a couple shots to the side of the face of McDonagh, taunting Imperium at ringside here, showing what he can do to the faction. A couple of combination strikes here. Vinci, nice back fist, by McDonagh, and a forearm strike to the back for good measure. Another one. Vinci just bouncing off the ropes, and McDonagh starting to go to that place. Wearing down Vinci. Gets him back to his feet. Oh, a headbutt there to the midsection. And there's that ripcord German suplex. Down goes Vinci, and that allows McDonagh to pick up the victory. A very impressive performance here by JD McDonagh. And our main event gets the upper hand going into next week's got the momentum. And McDonagh, what's he thinking here? Oh, come on. After the bell, strikes on Vinci. A little bit of the cheap shot, the referee, and now Imperium starting to make their way in the ring. McDonagh is going to back off, but McDonagh might have got the last laugh. But next week, it's going to be NXT Heatwave, our next television special. 3 championships on the line. You're not going to want to miss that show, but I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, make sure you drop that like and you subscribe down below, especially if you want more Universe Mode content. This is Mr. Rob, and I'll see you in the next one.